the questions. If you guys have any questions, please type them now so I'll be able to, we can respond to them in a timely manner for that. So please, yes, join us. And we'd love to have questions and everything. So our topic, last month we were talking a little bit about, you're welcome, Greg, and welcome. So Greg's on. He says, thank you for this. So we talked at the end and I asked what kind of things would you like to talk about? And we always going to put some kind of poll or response at the end just to see what would be a good subject for you. And so the subject, Karen, was about teaching Reiki online versus in person. Also, people have been including questions because some people are not ready for the teaching, but how do they proceed this with distant Reiki for being a practitioner level and status, right? I mean, how do you do this? You're inside, you might see in the future that you might want to be online if you haven't tackled that. And if you have tackled the online of these things, maybe we could give you some suggestions. Me and Karen teach differently. We have different ways and ideas and suggestions. So that's what we're doing, Karen. What do you think about that?
That's right. So, this is a great subject because, well, gosh, oh my gosh, Kathy, it's been a year this month, right? Isn't this when? Okay, so wow, so we've been doing this for a year, and when I'm going to go ahead and just start talking about it. Is that okay?
You do it. That's what we're here for.
I have to share because I know that some of the people out there are in the same boat that I was when the pandemic hit, and William Rand said that through his guidance, through his meditation and his spiritual work that he was doing, that he received that the energy was going to upgrade and work with the technology so that we could do the attunements online. And my first thought was, what?
Mine too.
Yeah, because one of the basic premises of the International Center for Reiki Training, which, I mean, this whole purpose is to establish standards of practice and teaching guidelines and all of that. And so we didn't do distant attunements from the time I joined, I mean, as a professional member. And so, and I come from an academic background. So I'm a retired English professor. So there's a little bit of that, that academician in me going like, what? Well, but he had all of the LRMTs together and we did like an upgrade. And that I remember it was on a Monday because I have a regular client that is in Oklahoma City and we have regular sessions. And so she had been receiving sessions from me. And then the very next day I had a session with her and I didn't say anything about the upgrade for the online and the distance and all of that. Right. And we were doing these sessions distantly, obviously. My arms can't stretch to Oklahoma. So the first thing she said when I finished the session, I said, so what did you experience? And she said, what was that? She said, that was different. She said, I was seeing colors. And she said, that was just really weird. And so after she said that, that was sort of my validation. Yeah. For me that, okay, there's something a little bit different about this. And so then I shared, I said, well, and it sounds kind of weird. I said, well, the energy got an upgrade. I got an upgrade in my energy yesterday. So, and I've just been having the most incredible experiences, even with the distance sessions. Yeah. Anyhow, so then when we started trying to do the technology, just because I'm a teacher, that doesn't mean that one of the reasons I decided to go ahead and retire was we were moving more toward online. And I thought, I do not want to teach writing online. I do not want to teach poetry online. So I was super resistant to this online thing. And, but the technology has evolved to the point where users even like me can use it. And it's like, okay, this isn't bad. It's just, honestly, if you're thinking about it, if you're getting a little bit of a nudge, but you're like, ooh, I don't know. What if my internet goes out? What if my cat jumps on my head? I'm just sharing some things that have happened. What will I do? Well, you know what? You just go on. That's what you have to take that step and trust Reiki and just do it. So
I'll tell you my little beginning
I wanted to
story.
say that. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was kind of like yours. When we got the information, if we wanted to take the upgrade or not, I was a little bit hesitant, a lot, because I'm very kinetic, as you know, and I thought in my mind, I needed the person to be right there. All my classes, of all my teachers, I went person to person. I was not a fan to sit there on the computer to watch somebody. That wasn't in my mind. That was totally bleh. I mean,
Me too.
it was pretty much like I was floored. Like, are you kidding me? Is this really going to happen? Are you? No, I have a center. You know what I mean? There's no. And so we got the upgrade. It totally changed my mind around because what I experienced is that, and when I was started doing Reiki for people at a distance that I did before, it's not that I didn't do things at a distance, but to teach was my big thing. I was like, I want to do it in person. Is that I felt my auric field become stronger. And when my auric field with the upgrade became stronger, people were able to feel my presence a little more, a little stronger.
I
And they were like,
forgot.
Kathy, this is really going on. And in my classes, people were feeling my presence. Somebody took Reiki 1 and Reiki 2, and they were really hesitant to take my master class. And when she took it, she came to me afterwards and she goes, Kathy, it was just like being with you in person. She goes, I loved it. Your presence was there. And I was like, and that's when it started, the pattern started going on, people saying that. And I was like, this upgrade really heightened my energy to make my auric field stronger so people are able to feel my presence. And so that happened. So I kind of felt good for being a very almost 100% kinetic kind of processing learner. That made me feel good. I'm a feeler, so I process, and I like that. I was like, oh, I could handle my presence being a little stronger. That means my auric field stronger. That means my being stronger on all levels. And then right away with our upgrade, a lot of people don't have holy fire, but our upgrade, the energy started teaching me because I started thinking about being online, and it started teaching me programs or bringing me people to offer suggestion and ideas, the LMRTs. We were all in that boat, and we started gathering together. And that's kind of what we're doing today for people to give ideas and suggestions and support to do this, because it is a lovely thing. I love it now. I enjoy everything about online. I like in person, and I do those, but I love everything to do about online. It's nice. It's flowy. It flows really well after you get, the things going on. So what do we want to talk about first? Do we want to talk about the pros and cons? Let's go into it. Let's talk about the pros and cons of in person versus online. And what we mean online, till we really direct it, we mean online live. So
Yes.
that means we are with you in class. We are not taking a workshop, do it at your own pace. That is a whole different topic, and we can talk about that. But that is not what we were all directed to do, how we taught Reiki, So a lot of different Reiki communities do not advise to teach online. That's one of the cons. There's a lot of lineages that do not, they understand Reiki is no time or no distance limitations, but it's not in their regimen. They're not ready for it. Do you know what I mean? It's not in their mindset that's okay with them.
Well,
that's okay too.
oh, I forgot to bring my book over. We just learned just recently with the research that Robert Fuston did in his he's publishing in his books series Transmissions of Light.
Yep.
We just discovered that Takata did distant attunement.
Yes.
We didn't know that before. So
Yeah.
we didn't know that was possible. But I know that when the way she talked about it in the notes that she wrote with some correspondence with Doris Duke, I think that she considered it sort of like well, if you can't, it's best to do it in person, but, if not, I can, attune you distantly. But what I've discovered is I think that this distant, or even my distant sessions, I think that they're more powerful than the in person. And love is my first, touch is my first love language. And I'm a touchy-feely person. So I can't believe I'm even saying this, but the distant sessions and the distant classes are amazing. I think that I really do think it's part of like human evolution. I think that even my clients, Kathy, you said people felt like you're there. I've had clients say, I felt like you were in the room with me. And I said, I think I am on some level, I am there because, and when you're not just there in person, you really, really have to tune into even more, okay, maybe I didn't realize how lazy I was because it was so easy to feel like, oh, whoop, there it is. Oh, there it is,
Right.
now it's like really tuning into the person, and I pick up. I think that it has increased my psychic ability. We'll talk about that probably in
Yeah.
another. I pick up things like
Yeah.
goofy things. Like, oh, I was giving Reiki to a client and I kept seeing this Appaloosa horse. And I thought, okay. I thought maybe that's her
Right.
spirit guide or something.
Right.
Anyways, I shared that with her at the end. And she said, oh, I know that horse very well. It kicked me in the stomach right where you were giving Reiki. I'm like, oh, okay. So I think that, and just that interaction with that client, I think that that helps her also realize, I see how that trauma sticks in my field. And so that's going to
Right.
help them evolve toward understanding how their emotions and things that they need to have that released.
Exactly.
I think it's beautiful. I
It is
think I got off the
beautiful.
topic. What
You're
was the
right. It's kind no, it's kind of, you're right. It's kind of like evolving. As we evolve, we connect to whatever frequencies are already evolved. They're all here at all different levels. It's just we evolve, we bring it in, and it's an evolvement. It is. I mean, I do like touch, I got to tell you, but I've had extraordinary sessions. And that's a way somebody was talking about. Can you guys give us some little marketing suggestions too? And giving distance sessions and stuff is, I would never give even anything free, but I would add on to it. Like you get 15 minutes extra with me, or you get a little card reading with it, or you get a little this or that, to bring in your distance sessions, or do two
Yeah,
for one deal. You're still not lowering the price, you're just giving a special, um so
something
for
to
them to
encourage people to
experience it.
try.
Yeah, so they can experience, but they're still giving you something, you know what I mean? You get a two for one deal, you're still paying for a session kind of deal. So it's little things like that to have these people experience it, the distance sessions, because they are phenomenal. Absolutely.
I guess it's kind of like when you're first trying to attract Reiki. Well, okay, I live in Arkansas where people are still like, you do what?
Yeah.
Um, so, like when you're trying to get clients, even in person, sometimes I would have to say, well, come here, let me just give you a little, you know, sample. So if you can do
Exactly.
something to encourage people to try, just try the distant Reiki.
Yeah.
That, you know, my friend, or yeah, Kathy, Munakai, don't you?
Yeah.
Mohammed, our
Yeah.
brother in the East. He's the co-owner of Healing Land Reiki, and he wrote. Somebody had asked a question like, "How exactly do you explain? How do you explain, um, the distant or distinguish between like Holy Fire
Right.
Reiki and the others?" And anyway, he was talking about just different frequencies. He said, it's like one is not better than the other. It's just evolving. So he said, like AM radio, you know, then when FM radio came along, it's not that AM radio wasn't any good. It's just FM was a little bit different,
Yep.
and it went a little bit farther, right? And now, like after that, like we don't even listen to, now we have like Spotify and Pandora. We just
Right.
stream music.
We just
And
stream.
so it's just evolving. So that's
Yep.
something that you might think about. I was thinking about, because I was a theater major in college, how people used to go in person to the theater,
Right.
right? Just like in-person sessions, in-person classes. And then once we developed the technology to make movies, people still go to live theater,
Yep.
but they were like, oh, I can get the same emotional experience, right? The same cathartic experience, if it's a really good film,
Yep.
you know, from a movie as I do. And that's like distance, or, you know,
Great
so
examples. That's great
yeah.
examples. Other things you could do is like do what we're doing, a live interaction, so people get to
Mhm.
know who you are. Do you know what I mean? You could go and pop on and talk about a crystal, say, this is carnelian, and I really like it. It makes my sacral chakra go, pop in, do social media. If you're a little squeamish on social media, do little stepping stones, do a little bit, do a little card like me and Karen does little cards, and we'll like the title of our show and that card that we put together, for our pictures and stuff. You could start out something like that, There's
Mhm.
all different little avenues you could work with. But if you go on this social media and online community with Reiki practitioners, they're going to maybe be a little bit more open to you talking about Reiki. right? A little bit more accepting. So you could do a little stepping stone that way and reach out to the community and saying, hey, I want to talk about Reiki. Do you guys want to join me? And set up a Zoom conference and work and experience and you know, so that's little kind of little things, stepping stones I did when I first started, because I had to get it connected to the masses. How am I going to do that? Yes, I'm published in some places and this and that. That's another way you could do it. But how to get them to experience the distant Reiki and to and to, you know, have
Connect.
them connect with it, yeah, and say, this is good stuff. I want, as a practitioner, to get more distant sessions for you. So, you know, another thing I use is that I do like a 4-for-1. I do, if you pay for 3 sessions, you get 1 session free, you know. So that's a nice little thing for people to do, and they start getting to work with the energy, you know what I mean, not just one time, because sometimes you know, you get a session of Reiki, sometimes it blows you out of your mind, and sometimes, oh, it's just relaxing, you know, but the Reiki's still working and it's still doing it. You're just not responding to it like that, you know, to what you did the first time or whatever. So I do little things like that. But what other kind of
Social
things that you could
media.
think of advertising for people to help? And Greg says he's wearing a blue shirt. And Beth says good morning, and she says thanks. Kristen says, I found the distant attunement more powerful too. I'm really empathic, and being on my own space and made her feel the Reiki energy much more. You know, being in my own space too, me and Karen are both empathic. That's how we fell in love with each other, you know. Into our hearts in space, like, my sister. And being empathic and being comfortable will make my heart space grow more. So when I am home on my own and taking a class or teaching, I'm going to produce a lot bigger heart space. I am, because it's just me being relaxed in my home place on my own, you know what I mean? Surrounded by Reiki energy, you know. So
Yeah.
what about,
The class I just taught this weekend, so we do Holy Fire Reiki, which
yeah.
we do healing experiences in the classes. And the client said, this is so wonderful. I could just lie down on my bed, because she just kind of carried her computer over there and we did the healing experience. And I really think that that's one of the advantages of the online, is that, like Kathy said, you're comfortable. You don't have to worry about, oh, I don't know. You still may have sounds outside, you know, the garbage man may come and pick up your garbage or something. There still may be noises, but it's a comfortable space where because it's not just about learning how to do Reiki. Part of learning Reiki is learning to heal. And so you've got to be in that open heart space and open to the energy so that you can heal. And I think that
Beautiful.
it's just easier online.
That's just beautiful. And you can be in your PJs.
Yeah.
PJ bottom, top, put a scarf on, you're set, you know, as a teacher, you know. It's great that I have a center. So when I would do bathroom breaks, which you got to do quite often throughout the whole thing, it takes 10-15 minutes each time for the round of everybody using one bathroom.
Oh yeah.
Coming back up, you know, I'll have, you know, between 3, I usually get between 3, my average is 3 to 8 people in a class. Sometimes I get 12, sometimes I'll do 1-on-1. Hey, they must need it, right?
Yeah.
You know, I must need it, whatever it is. And I noticed that. And even that low amount with one bathroom, I'm waiting 10 minutes. I'm talking. I'm not having a break myself as a teacher, because I'm reaching out to my students, you know what I mean? And talking with them. They're having questions maybe, or whatever it is. So being an online teacher, you get more breaks, at least for me. I don't know about you, Karen, but I do. The bathroom breaks go faster. You know, I say everybody have a bathroom
Lunch.
break.
Oh my
Lunch,
gosh.
super fast. And you give them the opportunity to say, do you want to end a little early? I do that. I say, you want an hour lunch or a half
Yeah.
hour lunch?
I do
And
too.
they all say half hour. And we all end a little early. And we end a little earlier because the bathroom breaks. That's huge for my people. You know, they go to the bathroom a lot. You know, so it's kind of like it's just nice. You know, that part is genuine, really nice. And you get to see their home a little bit. Some people get a little showy. They show their animals on breaks or whatever. And, you know,
My
so
cat, my cat Sam, I had to shut the door because, In fact, that's why I didn't open my camera right away, because I decided, I was like, Sam, you have to stay out here. I just shut the door. But people, your pets will come in for like the attunements a lot of times. Sam does. I mean, he's been attuned all the way up through Karuna Reiki now.
Yep.
But they like having their pets there.
It relaxes them,
Mhm.
you know? And as a
And not,
teacher, if the pets are bothering, you just ask them. You just ask them, you put them on mute. You got these functions. We use Zoom for our platform, and it's nice. That's what we're streaming through now. And I got so in Zoom for free, it's 45 minutes or something like that. And if you pay the one scale up, you get unlimited. And
Yeah.
that's what I did as a teacher, because I teach a lot. And so, I got that, and that's how I work with it. And then I got a good outside camera and a good microphone. Actually, Spirit got me these things 2 years prior. It told me I was going to reach out to the world. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go traveling. Yay. Yeah, you're going to go traveling inside your house. I'm kind of psychic, so I kind of feel the vibe, what's going on. So it's pretty interesting how I was already hooked up beforehand. But there's different cameras. The best camera I have ever had is the one I'm looking at now. It has its own lighting. I bought another camera that's okay, but this one is the best. And I'm not even sure you could buy them anymore, but I'll show you. It's Logitech, and I can't see it without putting my face up there, but I'll tell you.
Feel like,
I know, right?
I'm just using my laptop camera, and I have a Blue Yeti that I got to do my podcast that I'm going to start soon. But
Yay.
but this, I think I sound okay, and
You sound great.
And it's but I also have another web camera, so that when I'm teaching Reiki Master, I can.
Yep.
With Zoom, you can switch cameras, and that sounded complicated, but listen, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
It's
but
a little
you just
form.
click it.
You just click it like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that. So you can show your students, and actually they can see better, because if you're in a classroom setting, they're all kind of, if we're trying to learn how to create a crystal grid and charge it up, they're all kind of huddled around the grid, and there's not really room. So in a lot of ways, that's another advantage, I think, to the online teaching.
It's really nice. And also, like some of the techniques, what I've done. So I've noticed that through Reiki classes now, Reiki 1 and Reiki. So our programs, Reiki 1 and Reiki 2, you could teach like a Hashi style 2 days in a row, Reiki 1, then Reiki 2, or you could split them up. And then we teach master class. And that's kind of like some people call Art Master or Reiki 3, but it's really Art Master and Art Master together. So we have to teach it in 3 days, and it's called Reiki Master. And through that, you get the master symbol, and you are able to teach. We can't split it up. It's just how the ignitions work with the Holy Flame, where you get connected to the Holy Flame. And now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, so the techniques on Reiki 1 is that's the hardest for me. I had to figure out when I was like starting to learn how to teach, I was like, okay, wait a minute. There's these techniques. There's boys and scan we do. There's the hand positions, right? All these things. How am I going to teach it if I have a small space? I didn't know how to work with my space. So let's say I don't have a background like this. I could put a Reiki table up and start demonstrating. I don't even do that now, because what I did was Spirit said, make a video.
That's what I did.
Yep. So we're live, but we do a video. So I do a screen share. I put the video, I turn the video on. I explain what I'm going to do, like boys and scan, do the whole thing that somebody shot for me, while I was doing the video. And it was actually me and my son. My 11-year-old son said, "Well, it was on the pandemic." So I was like, let's do this. It's not, it's Kathy. It works. And I asked people, should I really update it since I know a little bit more? And they're like, no, we like it. It does what it needs to do. Your son's so cute because he waves at you. Like he's all like proud that he's a model. And he's getting Reiki. You can even see how he starts to relax when the Reiki comes, because he's a little fidgety because he's a kid. And all of a sudden, by the time I hit his eyes, he went into the whole thing, and people could see the energy. And it's really neat. So different things, you could do these techniques. You could do all your techniques that you have, and you have your outline out there. You could do these techniques. And another thing that I think Karen uses that I use is she probably uses PowerPoint or Google's Docs.
It was
and you can make a film strip. So while you're talking, you could, do something, bring it out. And if you guys want to see that, I can show it to you really fast. And it's pretty easy. It's something, and it's good for a teacher because now you're revamping your class, you're revamping it, and you're putting pictures that you want to do. You put energy, you're working with the energy while you're creating this slideshow, you know, for your students. And it's really nice. I'm usually the type of teacher I am is I sit there, have the book beside me. We will look at the book a couple times, matters what the students want to do, but I'm a talker. I'm pretty sure Karen is too. and,
yeah, I
so,
am.
and I'll sit there and just talk about it, do it. I might have a couple little things like a chakra sheet out there in the back, to show the chakras, talk about that a little bit or whatever. But I was never really a book person. But now some of your stuff you could put online, like what we have to us is that we have digital manuals that you actually put a digital manual and share that.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
great.
so it's the people that you can reach all these different kind of people. And now you have it all up and you don't have to do like a film slide in your classroom, person to
Or
person. You got it
you
all
can
in front of you.
you can just access, like, whenever we're talking about, is there evidence that Reiki works, that part of class, I I'll just share the screen and go to pubmed.gov, type in Reiki in the search box, and all the studies pop up, and I say, look, you can just go here, or take them to the Center for Reiki Research. And so
Yep.
I love that, it's easy, it's right there on their face, they're not trying to like squint, look at this
You're so right.
screen. If I'm teaching in person, I can do that and flash it up on. Well, sometimes I've taught in places where, because I don't have a center, I have to get like a conference room and teach. So, I love that it's more reliable that way.
It is. It really
And,
is.
and
That
Jennifer,
made me remind me of my master class that how you log into the ICRT and they get their own profile and da 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 because they're professional members
yeah,
from us because we're licensed teachers, and it's nice. I log in and let them see it right on the screen, and they're not
right.
squinting and turning over like, can I see what she's doing? What is she doing? You know what I mean? So that's
And if they have questions like, well, now do I do this first, or do I click that? And you can walk them right through it. Now, as a
walk them right
teacher,
through.
a lot of times I'll tell them like, okay, let's take a quick break. I'm going to go to the bathroom, and why don't you log on yourself and see if you can go and navigate it. Let me
Yep.
know, see if you have any questions. So it's
Hands-on
it's
training right then
it's
and
more, it
there.
feels more hands-on.
It
That's so
is.
weird.
Isn't
You
that
wouldn't
funny? Hands on, online, distance kind of deal. A lot of
expect.
people enjoy this. Okay, I'm gonna read a couple of these. Okay. So hi Tammy. Tammy is a colleague in college from me. I haven't seen her forever. Love you, Tammy. I gotta say that. That's pretty cool, huh? Tony, yes, thanks for doing this. Very timely topic for Beth and I. And then I'm not sure if this is connected, but Beth, different last name though. No, same person. Beth says, we are delighted the experience of the online ICRT Reiki retreat last year. We've had attended several years and couldn't imagine how to experience it. It is. Isn't that beautiful? It's going places and doing things and being able to connect with everybody. I got to learn Karen more online
Yeah.
than we did. We got to learn each other in our heart space and everything in Hawaii and things like that. But I actually got to work with her more because of the online function. I mean,
Mhm.
there's some magical things that happen online. Um, I mean, really, let me see.
Philosophically, I think that's part of what's going on here, is that
Yeah,
I think that the energy is trying to show us that, like, you are not disconnected from each other. In fact, you are more connected than you can even imagine. Because,
yeah.
like I said, I always thought of distance sessions, or that couldn't even consider distance classes, but I always thought of them as like, well, it's not as good as, but it's really showing me like, whoa. I mean, the implications of like, we're really connected. We are super connected to anybody that we set the intention to connect to with Reiki, and who is open to connect with us. I mean, all around the world. And that's the other thing. I have Duncan that we work
Yep.
with. Kathy and
Yep.
I,
Exactly.
we have a passion
Beautiful.
project we're working on, and Duncan is one of my students, and he's from the UK. And when we meet, it's like, so Kathy and I are in the same time zone. We have another person, Andrea, who's on the
Yep.
Eastern Coast, and Duncan's in the UK. I had another student who was in Switzerland.
Yep.
So, I mean, or Munikai, he's in Japan,
Yep.
so it's really showing us that no, we are
We are
more
connected.
connected than, and that's huge. That's really
It's huge.
huge.
And
If
you
you,
know, we're a Reiki, we're promoting Reiki, but Reiki empowers us, right? Empowers everything we do. So if our intention is to think about something, it'll empower that. You know, you're giving a distant thought kind of deal. I mean, so we, you know, you don't have to be a Reiki practitioner to give this distant love. When I was a little girl, I would do it all the time. I knew distant. I wasn't really like stunned when I learned Reiki, even though I never read about the stuff that when we start doing a distance, I'm like, well, yeah. Because when I think about somebody, they'll be like, Kathy, I just thought about you. I didn't have Reiki then. Do you know what I mean? Or what is it like certain things you might not even say something, you might just think about it and be by that person they know. You know, and that's a distance. It might be a little bit of distance, not too much or whatever. So I kind of got that, you know, and I'm hoping with Reiki and how life is going and developing, and as we evolve, they get that connection too. You know what I mean? Because it's natural.
yeah.
It's a natural connection. We're all connected. All
Well,
right. Let's
one of
go
the
ahead.
more mundane, practical things I have to talk about, as a single mom, I have to say, um, the money. One of the advantages is my students don't have to travel to to my classes. They don't
Yep.
have to get a hotel room for the weekend. They don't have to eat out. They can, oh, that's another thing. Like some people have special diets, like sometimes like
Yep.
trying to find some place to eat. Usually I would tell them like bring your own food, but then you have to find a place to store
Yep.
it. Like you're going to put it all in your refrigerator or, so it's really nice to
It
to
is.
save some money,
It
you
is. Then
know?
you could do more adventures. You could save money for other classes, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when I took animal Reiki. I was like, well, this is kind of nice. I like this. I got my own lunch. I didn't have to spend another $2,000 on lodging and food and plane
Exactly.
fare and all that stuff. And you know, that's kind of
Uh-huh.
nice. That's kind of because now I got that money to do. It was by Christmas time, so
That
I
was
could do it for
wonderful. I
Christmas.
took animal Reiki with Pam.
Yeah,
Sorry, there
it's
was a
okay.
lag. Yeah, same thing. I took animal Reiki with Pam, and
Yeah,
I was planning and thinking, okay, because she's in Canada, and I thought,
yeah.
okay, I'm gonna have to
I,
save up for the flight to get there, and then, but Pam said, oh, you can stay with me because Canadians are so cool.
she's
That's
so
how
sweet.
they are. That's what it's about. A boot. That's what it's about.
It's
But yeah, but it was really
yeah,
wonderful to be able to, and we were able to do not she has horses at her farm, but
right.
um, everyone had pets, and so we were able to work with that. So I mean, that actually expanded. What if I
Yeah.
had gone to Canada there at her farm, it would have been her animals, but now we got to practice
You
on
get to practice
everybody.
it.
So that
And
was
you could do
really
that in
cool.
regular class too. You know, you could practice on somebody. Somebody said one Reiki one class, they said, oh, well, I have my child that's coming in and they want to have Reiki. I'm like, okay, well, then that's what we'll do. You know what I mean? And it was like three of us, and all three students had
Mhm.
somebody. I was like, well, that's odd. Okay. But then usually we use the breakout rooms to give each other distant Reiki because you can do that, you know,
Mhm.
so you could use the programs for you to help you throughout. You know, me and Karen we went to a social last night and I never experienced, which was cool. And we were in these rooms and we were broken out just to say hi to everybody. But then the moderator would put questions up on the announcement thing. Okay, well, it just dawned on me. Well, that's nice. That's nice to do with the students to say, you know, it's about halftime going on, or, you know, give them little tidbits or
Mhm.
tips and suggestions, or the person that's giving the Reiki and stuff like that. So I really like that. I mean, that's still, I worked with the program for a year and I'm still learning some stuff.
And I want to say something about that. That's really important what she
Okay.
just said. She
Okay.
didn't wait until she knew how to do everything in the program before she started teaching. She got herself in front of the camera and the computer and set it up, and she did it. And that's what you have to do. You can't wait until, oh, I got to have the perfect camera and I got to make sure I know everything on Zoom. You don't.
Yep.
Just start. Just do
Just
it.
start.
Just do it.
You could do it. You could do it.
Reiki needs you to do it.
You know, give
Yeah.
yourself a little bit of Reiki, turn the camera on, and go. And that's what I do. because everybody's like, Kathy, you're a natural on social media and stuff. I'm like, oh goodness gracious, I get so nervous. you know,
Yeah.
and it's very nerve-wracking. It's just like it's work, but it's enjoyable work when you get online. Take a couple deep breaths, gives yourself some Reiki, and teach what you know.
Yeah.
You know, Reiki students are probably one of the easiest types of students there is because they're all made, most of them are very heart-centered people. That's why they're learning Reiki. They want to give it to somebody else or work on themselves about something. You know what I mean? So that, you know, it's a nice population to work with, you know, and see how it discovers after you start working with the energy and teaching Reiki online. You'll be surprised of all the other little things you start learning online that you can do and you can make an income with. And that's incredible.
Mhm.
You know, now my I have a center, but it's right beside my home. So my kids, I have a 30-year, I have three boys, a 30-year-old, a 15-year-old, and 11-year-old. So you know they need some mama attention, the other two, and it's kind of like it's nice to be home. It's nice that I had it a little bit, but now they even having more room with me, you know, because
Mhm.
I can mute and say, "What do you need?" and looking at the camera, "What do you need, honey?" so you know it works, it helps you, it helps, you know, working at home is a really nice thing. If you have an area, if you have a spot in an your work area, like you're renting out a place and you can't get out of it, then you know don't try to make a little spot. You can put a little table and put your monitor on, kind of deal, put your laptop on. I have noticed my eldest son gave me a tower and stuff to hook me up, you know, like a computer tower, and I
It
could
was
fly
like a 5G tower. What kind of
like
tower?
like I know it's like you know that square thing, big thing. It does go
An
better.
Eiffel Tower.
My classes go it does run better. My computer runs a lot better on a tower, but it's not portable. But I do have a laptop, but I never use my laptop now because it goes so smooth, and I can have other program. You know what I mean? It does go smoother. I don't know electronic wise or technical why it does that, but it goes so much more smoother. I've never changed. You know, so it's something to think about. You know, kind of deal. You can store a lot more information and things like that. I'm just looking and seeing, make sure
Yeah,
anybody else
yeah,
is
look for some.
talking. Yeah.
I'm going to talk to Jill Till this month, sometime. We haven't picked a date and time yet, but about doing hybrid classes, and I'm thinking
Yeah.
about doing that as well.
Yeah.
So, which is another opportunity where you just kind of set up a camera on a tripod that is filming you and the people who are there in
Yeah.
person, and you teach the class, but then also people can join in. I have a big screen TV, so I thought, well, that could work, you know,
Yeah.
um, because I like to see people, you know, like big. I want to see your face.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm an empath, and that's how I teach. Is like I can tell if somebody has something to say, to contribute, or if they have questions and they're too embarrassed to ask. If I just look at them, I'm like, "Do you have a question?" You know.
Look at
So,
you. Look up. You have a question.
yeah, I think I do have a question.
My
So,
house
but I
tells
thought
me you got a question.
But you know, I think that would, well, one, because I'm realizing this is enabling me to reach people that would not be able to take a Reiki class.
Right.
So, yeah, there are, like Duncan took my class. He said that he's been a Reiki master for 20 years, and he was feeling called to do the Holy Fire Reiki. And there are no LRMTs in the UK. I mean, sometimes people travel there, so
Right.
he wouldn't have been able to take one. He would have had
Right.
to wait. So anyway, so if you do a hybrid class, then that will enable you to reach people who wouldn't be able to travel to you. And
Exactly.
anyway, I think
Well, I think my
but
second
maybe
class.
just try
Yeah.
some online and then mix it. Yeah.
Let people get to know you and talk about Reiki. Have Reiki shares and circles, offer them. And you know, so you're going to have to you got to think about if you're going to teach or if you're going to do some stuff on, you know, on the internet at afar here, that you're going to have to figure out what platform you want to use. You know, there's a lot of them out there. A lot of people like different things. If you already have one, work with that one and see how you like it. You know, how serious you get, you might transfer to another platform. You know, things change all the time. You want to make sure that, you know, you get your information together just like you would in any class. You know, you might have to transfer some information onto the computer, kind of deal. What else can can we give them a little like,
Oh, I was gonna, when you were talking about, I haven't seen your video, but you used your son. So I have a grown son, he's 22, and he made my video, but I didn't have anyone to lie on the table. And so
I'll show
they
you.
suggested when we learned how to teach online, they said, go to Amazon and you can order a dummy. And then there was a special group. Did you see? I don't know her, but it was this British woman, and she said, "Look, I've got my dummy from Amazon." She goes, "We're going to open it up together." And she started opening the box, and she goes, "Oh, look," because it was like all curled up like this. Did you see that video, Kathy?
No,
And she
but
pulled it
it
out.
made me laugh.
She goes, "Oh my God, it's got hands." She said, "It looks so sinister."
You want to hear something funny? When they were
So
talking about the dummy, my girlfriend gave me the exact same dummy, and I threw it away 2 weeks prior to our upgrade that everybody was talking about the dummy. I'm not kidding you. I threw it away in the trash because it was scary. It was big. Why would I use it? And then 2 weeks later, everybody's talking about this dummy. And so I'm thinking, I got to do a video. I don't know what else to do. I just threw away an $80 dummy. I mean, dummy. I was like, you got to be kidding me. All right, I'm going to screen
yes.
share
So
this.
I was going to offer that as advice. Don't buy the dummy. If you want, so what I ended up doing was making a dummy with a sweatshirt. So I just stuffed it full of pillows and put
All right.
shoes on it.
So prior to my class, I have everybody meet a couple days prior. Why? It's to say hello. It's only 10 minutes. Say hello, give them this video talking about the Zoom commands because you can't really see on my side what the commands are. So I took my phone and put it onto the Zoom commands. And then so I took my phone basically and just did this and did my bar so people could understand what I was talking about, how I did it. I'm not technical, but that's what I did. I also do it so that I could check their mic and their video because I need that as a student. I want that to, them to be able to do that. I want to see them sometimes. Sometimes when they glitchy and stuff like that, they could turn their video off, but I want to make sure that they're on there. And so I still get people will say like, I'll do this on Thursday, Saturday's the class. On Friday, they buy a new computer and they plug it in because they're all excited to take Reiki class and the video don't work. And so I'm still I've done it twice, a half an hour extra in class in the beginning to get the video to work because they don't know the thing. So it doesn't always take everything, but it does cut everything. So when I'm in class and I start at 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, everybody's video's up, everybody's off, on mute. They know how to use the chat. They know I put them in a breakout room for a moment before on Thursday. So they get accustomed to it. Okay. So that is that part. Let's do, since I talked about my son. Fast forward. Okay, practice time. Oh, I want to do my
Yeah, I do the same sort of thing like this, and then I'll go back and forth and like share, stop, share, so I can see them.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I like you.
I'm trying to get my son, but I don't know where he was at. Well, you just graduated. I don't know where my son is. That's all right. Oh, there we go. Okay. Reiki treatment. Here we go. And hopefully I'm on my hotspot, so I'm not sure how easy this is going to go down.
That's the thing about technology is you just go with it.
Oh, this is Kathy Milanowski with the International Center Reiki Training, alongside with my son, Rowan Milanowski. Today, we're going to go over a complete Reiki treatment. So first, we're going to start with the 3 pillars. Akaso.
All right.
Belly breathing, relax, and connect.
I just wanted to show I don't want to give the whole thing.
Do the whole thing.
I'm not doing that to everybody, but you see how that is. And there's my son. It's not the greatest published thing that you're going to watch, but you're going to know the techniques. No one's complained about it. They giggled when my son goes like this on the side, and he enjoyed it. And I just go over the stuff. So it's just something, it's just an idea of what you can do, sky's the limit. Have fun with it.
Yeah. Just ask Reiki, like what, if you run into something like, how could I do this? Just give yourself Reiki, ask Reiki, and you'll get an idea. And yeah, don't wait until it's perfect.
No,
It's okay. if someone is taking a class from you, it's because they want to be attuned to the energy, the energy, and they want to learn how to
Yep.
do it. And that's the main thing. So if it's not, well, I mean, you wouldn't, I wouldn't show up with like my hair like all, I mean, you try to present yourself and, but just be yourself and then do what you can do, what's within your capability, as long as it's reaching them and they're getting what they need. And about social media, I wanted to say too, Kathy is so good at everything that she does. And this is the best way to advertise, because I know somebody specifically asked about marketing. The best thing you can do is just give some information, all of your social media platforms, whatever it is you're doing, it needs to add value to people's lives. Think about who your audience is. It may be, sometimes your audience might be people who are they've heard of Reiki and they're kind of, exploring. And so give them a little bit of information. Sometimes just going over just popping on and talking about the Reiki ideals, just give them something. It might be a recipe, or like when Kathy held up that piece of carnelian, a lot of people that are interested in Reiki are interested in, they may even be Reiki practitioners or even teachers and still want to learn more about crystals, so just give a little bit of information, something that adds value to people's lives, and let them see how you are, who you are, because different people resonate with,
Yep.
different people. So
And this is
Kathy and I are kind of blah, 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 blah,
the,
which
the,
that may not be everybody's cup of tea.
well, and also, we have a lot of psychics working with us, and that is a great way. Like if you saw, there's cards. So I pull cards for people. I'll get online, whatever it is. I'll talk a little bit about Reiki, say what Reiki is, and then I'll start pulling cards, because Reiki will empower everything I do. Right. So, you do what's comfortable to you. Some people do yoga, right? Yoga, do some poses and say, now I'm going to put some Reiki infused with my poses, and just do whatever you need to do.
I do essential oils. I talk about like what essential oils work with what chakras, and give yourself Reiki. Actually, I'm working on a book with like what I've been experimenting with, what symbols work the best with which oils and which areas. So,
Ooh, I
just
can't
give a
wait to
little
do that.
something. Yeah, give a little something to people.
Yeah. And they like that.
And everybody has different gifts. So
Different gifts, different ways of thinking of things. I know some people, they'll just pull up a card and say, oh, look what I pulled up. I am not kidding you. Teacher. Teacher, right? I'm telling you, I'm really good at this stuff. So, light attribute, ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, and wisdom. The shadow attributes, manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits, and destructing skills. I add Reiki to my card, so it's always the light attribute that energy wants to talk to me about. So this is perfect for our class, our group right now. It's being teacher energy, bringing that teacher energy in. It wants to talk to all of us. That's the guidance we get, and work with that teacher energy. It's a little different frequency than the practitioner energy. So always, I remember William, the first things he said in class, the first time I took masters from him, he says, the Reiki teacher energy is different when than the practitioner Reiki energy. And it stuck with me because I felt it when we all started in class and started bringing it. I'm like, oh, I feel it. It's a different frequency, so we get another set of guidance and tools and stuff. So there's my 3-minute media thing I could have put online, which I did do online, but you know what I mean? Everybody's like, oh, a card, look how cute it is. And it says teacher, it matches. Oh, I love it. It's great. It is. I got all excited about it. So, so let's say, what's going to help me with my teachers? Oh, alchemist. Transfer the base motives to goals and golden wisdom. What am I doing today?
Wow.
Right.
Amazing.
And these cards, there's a lot of cards, guys, gotta say. This is Carol Mice archetype cards. They came out the other day. But anyways, so, just do whatever makes you happy. Shine on. People are going to be attracted to your energy too. Your personality that you put online, that stuff. So, and just have something to back you up with it, say, hey, I'm going to be teaching this class, which Karen, It makes me think about something.
Yes, it does.
It does,
So,
doesn't it, right?
yeah. So, kind of got a little bit of a message that Kathy and I in the future are probably going to offer Reiki classes specifically for psychics, so that they'll have that flavor to it. Of course, we'll cover the same basics, but people who are psychic would have different applications. Perhaps we could go a little further than we normally do. So
Yeah.
that's in the
You
works. And
know,
I'm
it
very
will still be a ICRT class, but the flavor will be it. So you might have a little bit more time of sharing time in our circle. We might have, in our breaks, have some cards or talk about certain little things that you could do with your psychic abilities with the Reiki source, right?
and
This is my
it'll
classes
bring
anyways, but
together.
it's kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, well, every class is different. It's amazing to me. So whenever I put the class into the Reiki.org uh, website and just start, I've picked the date. Actually, I start sending Reiki when I pick the date, and then put it in there. And I'm asking Reiki to bring the correct people together, the ones that are really going to mesh and they're going to learn from each other. And so this would also be an opportunity for you to connect with people perhaps that you don't know on a more intimate level than just say like a Facebook group.
Yeah.
Really get to know. And it's like me and Kathy. I mean, Reiki brought us together, and when I first met her, I thought, oh, I love this woman, but I didn't know we were going to be working. We're working on 3 different passion projects together right now.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't know that was going to happen. And so I really do, as a teacher, and Kathy, you're probably the same way. I see myself as sort of like holding this sacred space for people to gather into. So when the Reiki energy brings people together, I know that there's something deep going on, that
Something deep going on with this class.
the connections are being made that are going to make a difference in the world somehow. So,
Yeah,
and yeah,
absolutely beautiful. We do not know the date yet. Reiki's just kind of blossomed that into us and said, "Hey, girls, what do you think?"
this
We
lesson
love it. We
was
said
that just yesterday. Days seem really long.
we take it on.
Maybe
So
this
it would be
weekend.
the same kind of class and stuff, but the flavor would be with, and our intention would be people with a flavor of psychic connection and want to do psychic work, would like to join this class. That's kind of how I see it. I flavor, you know what I mean? A lot of people be like, well, Kathy, you kind of do that in your classes. Well, yeah, but
It's just a little.
it's
Like
a little
in April.
different. I might do some research and see what, exercise, do a little show, give some information about exercise work for your third eye, our mind power. We are psychics, we're navigator, we're everything. And to work with that is just beautiful. So you never know what me and Karen will figure out. You're a goof, Karen. Is there anything that you want to add before we end? Because it's getting close. Anybody has, I don't think.
Closer. Any other questions?
No more questions.
Okay. Mainly just
Yoda talk.
ask Reiki. Try teaching. You'll figure it out. You've got us. You could ask questions. I mean, you could still,
Exactly.
if you tried to teach a class and you had something pop up, you could still ask us next month, even if we're not talking about online teaching. It doesn't matter, because this is the forum for all things Reiki.
Yep.
So,
all things Reiki. All things. It doesn't matter. If you want to just simply go into it, what I would suggest is teach a technique online. Like do Boysen scanning or self Reiki or Reiki, whatever, Reiki ideal. Make a video.
I did a TikTok on that.
Yep, you could do, and you'll have one technique done. So when you do it, you'll have it done, and you'll know how to do that in Reiki 1 class. So you take little parts of it, make up it whatever you want. You know what I mean? If you want to do a video of something because it's too hard to show somebody how to do all the hand procedures, make up the video and have fun with it and present it. Have a Reiki share and present it. Say, this is what I've created. This is how I created it, and I want you to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Try, and if you are a Holy Fire practitioner already, a Holy Fire master, then maybe try doing a healing experience online, offer it to the public. And that would, I don't know if that might be too nerve-wracking, but it's just one healing experience. And if you've done those in person, you know how to do it. And it would just be an opportunity to kind of play with the breakout room. So you could lead everybody in an experience and then try the breakout room. Say, okay, if you did it for just Reiki people, it's like, I'm going to put you into rooms and you guys give each other some, do a Reiki share and then come back. And that would be like a mini thing, you do for maybe an hour and a half as opposed to an all day, 2-day class. Right. So that's something. And you may get it if you're a master teacher and you provide that space for Reiki level 2 practitioners to come and practice, then they may sign up for your Reiki master class. So just take steps.
Take steps of it. Yeah, that's one great thing about the Holy Fire lineage is that we got experience that we could do for the public, and if you are kind of nervous, I used to do them every week for the public and in person, then online, and they do experience it. So it's a trusting relationship, and you will develop more of a deeper trust when you start doing it online and finding out the people's responses are phenomenal. Because remember,
And the Reiki shares, my students that I had. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
go ahead.
You go.
When you said that, I thought, oh yeah, some of my Reiki students that I taught in person, we had an online Reiki share and they were amazed. I mean, they'd done distance Reiki, but for them to practice, give them that space for them to practice. They're like, oh, they'd get somebody that was in a different class. And so they would scan them and go like, oh, I'm feeling this. And the other person would go like, yeah, I had a knee surgery. Like, oh, and then they could talk back and forth like, oh yeah, it's, what? And a lot of them talk about, and this is different because I don't remember this in in-person classes. They talk about, I could tell her thoughts. I was like picking up her thoughts.
Because you're not right beside them. So this is surprising. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the telepathy,
Yep.
is working. Because you have to use different senses when you're in person versus online. And because of that, we're working on those senses that we need to develop more.
Yeah.
So it just works hand in hand. Involvement. Let's go back to what Karen said. Involvement. We're evolving, and this is different ways and different tools how to work with it. Because Reiki has no time or distant limitations. I've never met a Reiki lineage that said it did, and it doesn't. It's energy. So it's pure energy. It's love energy. So I want to thank everybody for joining us and talking and expressing themselves. And we meet the first Tuesday of every month at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So that would be 11:30 Eastern and 8:30 Pacific time.
8:30.
Yeah. Early.
Bring your coffee.
Bring your coffee. Yeah. We have ours. We love you. And so next month, we're going to have Karen lead it. Yeah, Karen. Great career, good. And I think what are we going to do next month?
I forgot.
Psychic.
What are we?
How we use our psychic abilities with Reiki.
Oh yeah, I was going to psychically tune in on that one.
You're going to psychically tune in on that one because she's like, we covered it just a little bit now. So we're going to talk about just psychic skills and Reiki and the harmony and the relationship with it. And maybe we'll give a couple, we'll see how Reiki flows this month with me. And I'm sure I'll dig up some things for some tools and some techniques to help your psychic ability. We'll figure out what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll see what you want. Now, if you want something from us, you want a special topic from us to talk about or a demonstration, we can even give a Holy Fire experience. So that takes about at least 20, probably most of the hour, about 45 minutes, 20 minutes of you relaxing and some talk, just a little talking afterwards. So we could even set up a private little Zoom thing for a room. So then everybody can meet up and you know what I mean? Talk about their experience. I'm sure we could do something like that, Karen, you know?
Yeah.
Fun. So just little different things. Whatever you guys want, just let us know in the comments. That's how we'll look on the comments of this. And so you see it in replay, you have some comments, put it on there. Psychic Fixes, you know, the postings that we put on there, you could contact us that way. Contact us personally on Facebook or our email. I just put everything on the 2 points, the event and also the stream. And just get a hold of us. We're pretty easy going, and we like to have fun. So we really enjoy you connecting with us. It means a lot. And I hope this helped ease you, give you suggestions, give you some inspirations to ignite yourself to start teaching online, to start giving Reiki at a distance, be able to talk about it or promote it for yourself, you know, a little bit better. And you know, get everybody the love and the support. So I thank you. And we'll see
We
you.
love you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.